Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by SeatGeek. This is episode 517. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
One day closer, pal. One day closer. You know, I don't mean to be that guy, but outside of getting to be outside and chew some seeds and picking up a new baseballism shirt, there wasn't much about the spring training game that hit me where I needed to be hit. You know what I mean? I'm sorry. It was nice. It's nice seeing the grass. It was nice being there.
We have our own,
being in the sunshine.
We have our own shop, and Nate, just from the clouds, right off the top, just shamelessly gives a free promo. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna pick up a new baseballism shirt.
Okay.
I mean, that's worth two.
Yeah, this baseballism as a podcast. Yeah,
I mean, that's a. When's the last time you plugged the shop? When's the last time you plugged the shop?
Literally last episode.
I don't remember that.
1,000%.
I don't remember
read that you can get on the shop.
When's the last time you plugged baseballism? 30 seconds ago. 30 seconds ago. Tell us about your spring training experience.
It's good. It's good getting out. Good getting in the sunshine. Good spitting some seeds, chilling, catching some baseball, watching people that are like oddly way too into spring training and like cheering to the level of like, let's just ease off the gas pedal a little bit here.
We got 162 of these things lined up.
Way.
Let's save some in the chamber.
Yeah, but it was good, man. Got to see Jack Caglione for the Royals, who is massive, a massive human being. You see him he's like, when he cracks through and is on the field regularly for them, like that dude is a presence.
That's a big boy.
Yeah. He's got a little bit to figure out in the swing. It's a long swing. And he didn't look great the other day, but I'm sure he's going to be fine. Corbin Carroll went yah. Corbin Carroll's got a new little stance going on, it looks like.
Yeah, it's called sitting on the bench. Do you see he was pulled with back tightness today?
Oh, did he? Oh no. Probably because, believe it or not, I think it was like after that home run, I think he hit it in like the fifth or sixth inning. He hit a home run, like a shot to right center, and they come out the next half and like innings about to start, you know, warm-up balls are getting tossed back in. I'm like, time. We don't have a right fielder. Like, no one's in right field. Diamondbacks didn't send anybody out. So Corbin Carroll's like, all right, throws a hat on, gets his bright red glove, and jogs out there. And shame on them. You know what I mean? His day should have been done. He goes, yeah. Like, you're going to make him go back out in the right field in the sixth? So maybe that's why.
Player.
Yeah.
That's a team player.
Yeah. But overall, it's good, man. It's good. Good show. Good time getting out. Crazy expensive. Probably had the best nachos I've ever had at a ball game, believe it or not.
That's not true. We had those in Denver.
Better.
That's impossible.
Nope. Better. Like real like Mexican queso. Not like nacho cheese being dumped on it, like queso.
At a spring training game?
Oh, yeah, dude.
The best nachos you've ever had in your life at a spring training game.
I know.
I don't buy it. I'll take your word for it, but that's something I would not accept just blindly. But, you know,
yeah,
you were there, you had them, I'll believe you.
Just saying. How about you? Do you have anything this weekend?
No baseball for me. I actually watched some spring training. I was actually just watching earlier today. I was watching some Sox, and then I was watching the Padres Royals game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of split squad action going on today. I hate that, by the way. I understand it has to be done, but like, let me just
I hate the split squads.
Just anyway. But yeah, it's been good. Been watching some ball on TV, which is unusual for me. I usually don't get around to watching much of spring training, but finally got the MLB TV subscription figured out. So I've been trying to tap into it a little bit.
Yeah. I tried to throw it on the other day and I was like,
yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Finally musters up the courage and the strength to watch spring training game, and then it just hits you with this is unavailable in your area.
Try logging into a different account. I was like,
I don't have another account. Anyway, speaking of watching some ball, there's some storylines that you and I have brought to the table today that we are going to have our eye on this year. I'm looking forward to this because, I told you where my head was at, but I don't know really what you're bringing to the table. So I'm curious to see who or what team, because I sort of made it open-ended. I said this could be player-related, this could be team-related. So I'm curious to see where your head's at. Would you do us the honors of leading off with your first?
May starter off? My first one, I feel like I'm not going to say like unjustifiably harsh, because after looking at the numbers, it was better than I thought. But I still think it brings up a good point. One of my guys that I want to watch is Julio Rodriguez. And in the way that I've said that, like, I feel like I've been somewhat harsh in the past, the numbers look a lot better than what I had in my head. And it was a little bit of a down year last year. Overall, I think the Mariners are still happy with it, a 20 home run season. But like the OPS has just kind of dropped a tick after each year, starting in 2022. And I know he came onto the scene and like he especially is showing at the home run derby, and like it almost just like you got this impression that he was already in this like superstardom status. And I know we could go off on the Mariners and just how they haven't really seemed to take that next step and get over the hump. And I don't know if maybe he gets wrapped up into that. And like I said, I don't know if it's justified or not. But for me, just for the commitment that they've made to him, not necessarily so. I mean, it's a very team-friendly deal monetarily. Like it's a great contract for what you're getting. But I think it's just the commitment of like the length and saying like, well, let's build around this guy. Well, they're not really building. And I'm ready for him to just establish who he is. So, you see guys that are young and sometimes they get early success and sometimes they take off and then sometimes it fades. Maybe it takes a little while to come back. And I don't know if it's like an age thing. I don't know if maybe pitchers started to figure out a way to attack him. Mechanically, I see some stuff in his swing that like would be a pretty easy fix that I think would help him. But I'm just ready for him to step into stardom. I'm ready for him to step into like, I am a top 3 center fielder in the game. I am the Seattle Mariners. Like I'm ready for that next step. So let's wash last year and let's kind of tap into what it has been. He came in his rookie year, hit 28. He had 32 in 2023. But we've seen the OPS just drop each year. It went from 853 down to 818. And then last year was a 734 OPS and a 116 OPS plus. Like, again, I'm not worried about the dollar amount necessarily, but when we're talking about a guy that a franchise is committed to for a decade plus, I expect more than an OPS in the 700s. So, show me what else you got, man. Keep swiping bags. He had 37 stolen bases in 2023. Played 155 games. I mean, it's not like he's not playing. He played 143 last year. Like, that's fine. But he went from 37 doubles down to 17. Like, so there's something going on to where the power numbers have dropped a little bit, and it kind of changes his value. You're always going to get that Gold Glove defense, but I'm ready. I just want to see all of it. I want to see you be who you should be. And I think this is the year that I'm like, I'm really intrigued by what he has. And want to see what's real, you know?
Murray in the chat says, speaking of Julio and speaking from a baseball fan, I've been waiting for the Seattle starting pitchers to go off. I think, and he also says, happy Sunday. I think if what you're saying is true, I think if what you're saying is true, I think if we can get, and I hate saying bounce back, because like you said,
it's not a horrible year.
Right.
Like,
I looked it up, and because I remember just the last couple years being a little worse off than they were. But when you really, I mean, you don't even really have to dig very far beyond the county numbers to be like, oh, I mean, this was a albeit a down year, but a serviceable year. And you can't imagine that he's going to stay down too long. If you combine that with what they're able to bring to the table from a staff point of view, assuming they keep everybody around, keep them healthy, the Mariners, I think, can continue to insert themselves into the mix of things. So we shall see. An outfielder for me, one of the better players in baseball last year. Can Jarren Duran repeat a top 5 WAR season? This is tough. This is really tough because I love me some Jarren Duran. But I'm pretty sure I went on record as saying that, like, I feel like everything lined up correctly for him last year. Sort of caught lightning in a bottle. His skill set is going to play. He's going to be an absolute menace on the base pass. He's going to stretch singles into doubles, doubles into triples. And that's not you're not going to have to worry about the speed declining for some time, I would imagine. But frankly, I don't know how he finished top 5 in all of baseball and WAR last year. Like,
you watched him every day. So, like, tell me, is there like some fluff? Is that what you're saying?
No. What I saw was incredible. Like I mean, Utah, truly
Doubles
one of the
machine.
Yeah, extra base hit machine in general. I mean, I think he led the league in doubles and triples, 48 and 14 respectively. So like
14 triples is crazy.
Yeah, what you see is what you get with Jarren Duran. But it's not a knock on him. It's really just you look around the league and you're going, you're telling me he finished top 5 with all these other dudes around baseball, gunning for the same sort of performance and output. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, last year you look at what he did. 2024 all MLB second team. He was obviously an all-star, was the MVP of the all-star game, finalist for a Silver Slugger and a Gold Glove, was the Heart and Hustle Award winner for the Red Sox, or nominee, no surprise there. My gut says no. I don't think. I mean, again, these are storylines that we're going to keep an eye on. But if I had
it's hard to match that,
it's really hard to duplicate that. And the thing is even if he didn't, even if you get, I mean, I used the word serviceable earlier. Even if he gives you 75% of what he gave you last year, you would absolutely take that in a heartbeat. Because again, some of the additions they made this offseason, namely Bregman, alleviates a little bit of that pressure offensively. And it gives him the freedom to do even more than what he did last year, because he doesn't have to put that weight on his shoulders. If you get more from him this year as a result, great. But if not, again, some of that pressure has been offset with some roster manipulation, some additions that have been made. But yeah, Baseball Reference right now has him projected for 16 homers, 62 ribbies, OPS I believe is 797. So I mean, that's,
I think I'd be crazy not to say yes to that if I'm a Red Sox fan. Like, I'd take that. If we fast forward and said you had a regression from last year, but you still give that, I think it gives that. I told you, I think the last episode or a few episodes ago, like, as a Yankees fan, he worries me more than anyone else on that team. I'm more nervous about him. And I don't know if there's something in the water in Boston that they just generate stud center fielders. You go back to Johnny Damon and Jacoby Ellsbury after that. It's almost like you maybe skip one short period of a generation, and then next thing you know, you have like a league leader in center field. So he worries me, man. There's a lot of guys. He's freaking ripped. He's like, it's not like he's a frail, fast guy. Like that guy is built like a freaking superhero at the same time. He worries me. So I'm surprised by that. I'm surprised that you're not as confident as I am worried, if that makes sense.
I mean, and I'll let you get to your second guy here, but just look at, I mean, and I'm not telling you names you don't already know. Aaron Judge, here's how we finished last year with war leaders last year. Aaron Judge, Bobby Witt, Shohei Ohtani, Gunnar Henderson, Jarren Duran, Juan Soto, Matt Chapman, Francisco Lindor, Jose Ramirez, Ketel Marte. He finished, Jarren Duran finished with an 8.7. If there was a quote unquote regression to say a mid 5, you know who finished with a mid 5 last year? Brent Rooker with a 5.6. Would you take what Brent Rooker did for you last year?
1,000%.
Certainly different styles of play. Brent Rooker's going to give you much more power than Jarren Duran is, but would you take a season like Brent Rooker? Sure. So that's why I'm not. Again, this isn't a knock on Jarren Duran. This is more of just I think the best of the best are going to continue to get better, and I just feel I see it being very difficult for Jarren Duran to crack the top 5 in consecutive seasons. I don't know. I'd love to see it. I'm not going to sit here and wish that it doesn't happen just so I'm right. I want to see it happen, but I think that would require a lot to go right.
I think I love the aspects of a traditional leadoff guy. But if there is a day that the Red Sox move on from Devers, I think that is your 3-hole moving forward for a long time. That's how I feel about Jarren Duran. Like I think that's a guy that has I think that there's a very easy 4-tool player in that can scratch into 5-tool at times. I think it's like a no doubt 3-tool. Wake up, don't even need to stretch. I'm a 3-tool guy. More often than not, he's going to be 4-tool. And then if there's like a shift in gears down the road at some point in his career, I could see 5-tool for sure.
Love it.
Yeah.
Who do you got?
Weird theme. I gotta be honest. You texted me your list. I don't even remember who else is on it, but like, let's stay in center field. I'm going Luis Robert Jr.
Yes.
I think it's something that is very intriguing with the White Sox scenario. Obviously, anybody that hasn't lived under a rock understands that he's been shopped and there's been conversations there. And I'm curious to see how he performs and if the White Sox continue to hold their price tag at where it is. And I don't know if I have any, like tangible offers that I can read off of what they're requesting. I think I'm just intrigued to see what this turns into, because there isn't a team in baseball that wouldn't be interested in a Luis Robert Jr. Whether he plays center field every day or if they shift him over to right field or give him more of a DH opportunity. But like the health thing, man, the lower half injuries are just so hard to be confident in. It's one thing. I feel like the two most worrisome injuries to me are hips and wrists. Those are like, as a position player, those are the two things that I would worry about most. When wrists start to go, those are miserable. When hips start to go, all the other injuries start leaking in with it. Hamstrings, quads, calves. And that's what we've seen with Luis Robert. Like over the few years, man, it's like you came onto the scene and blew up. And then it's just like, who are you? I don't know who you are. I can't quite figure it out. He played 56 games in a shortened season of 60 games, and then it's just been weird. 68 games, 98 games, and then it's like, oh, 2023, I am that guy. I am that guy. And he produced 38 bombs, 857 OPS. So it's like, it's just the inconsistency up and down. I'm not sure what you're going to get. He played 100 games last year, which I feel like he's starting to trend in the right direction, but like, it's not just, starting off the season this way. It's not just, it's like 2 or 3 stints throughout a season that you're like, I can tell that's lingering. And I think he was lucky to get to 100 games last year. But the storyline I want to pay attention to is that mixed with the contract, because like it is a very, I think this is the other aspect of the White Sox holding their price tag where it is because there's a lot of potential in that. But this contract is not only affordable, you have back-to-back club options for 2026 and 2027. So whatever team commits to him has the ability to say, I can get out of this right away, or I just snatched him and we have a potential MVP every year in our lineup. I just don't know what he is. I think there's so many question marks around him. This to me is like I'm not going to say last chance, but I think this is like the White Sox got to get something for him. And I don't want to see that price tag drop too much if he moves on to a different team and absolutely blows up. And that's the other part of it too. It's like, how committed are you to staying healthy when you're playing for a dumpster fire of an organization? Does that change when you change into a different uniform? And I know you mentioned a few episodes ago that like, if the Phillies can somehow find a way to get Mike Trout, that would be the perfect combo. This to me is like this is a fit. You talk about a Wonder Bread, not enough culture going on in that dugout. Add a little Luis Robert.
I mean, those boys can have some fun. Let's not fully
for sure. Well, they need a little spice. They need a little flavor in there, and I feel like Mr. Robert could do that. So that would be like kind of my guess if they can find a way to make it happen. And financially, it's not that bad. So it's my next guy to watch.
Next storyline to watch for me, which by the way, your first 2 thus far were storylines that I was considering. Very much considering. All right. Julio Rodriguez, like we've been talking for weeks now about how some of these names have just been sort of sneaking up on us in terms of how long they've been in the league. And Julio Rodriguez by no stretch has been in the league. We're not talking about him being, oh man, he's been around for like a decade. But just one of those guys, like every year that passes and in situations like that, you're going, all right, like let's really take off now. If you're J-Rod, like let's really, I mean, I know again, he's had great seasons thus far, but like let's take it up to another, let's kick it up another notch. And then Luis Robert, I mean, that's a wild card if I've ever seen one in terms of
imagine
an addition.
If a team can get him at the deadline, like look out, if he's going right and healthy, you immediately just got an MVP tossed in. That's what he is. That's what he's capable of.
So as I was saying, my next storyline is this going to be a year that Jackson Holliday finally settles in and takes off. And I got a little treat for us here. I've got our good friend Ryan Ripken, fresh off the train. I texted him. I was like, "Hey, can we get your thoughts on Jackson Holliday for 2025?" He goes, "I'm on a train, but I'll get you when I get home." Within minutes of getting home, shoots over a video. So we got a little treat for you here
from Baltimore,
Prince of Baltimore, friend of the program, Ryan Ripken.
Nate, Kyle, 3-0 take, what's up? And Kyle, hey, could this be the year for Jackson Holliday? It might, but here's the reality for Jackson. Still such a young player, and I would still argue there's only a few players and the list is so small, who could have more upside than Jackson over the next decade. I mean, he is that talented. He can be that good. But we need to take a step back and realize he isn't going to be that all-star to hit 30 jacks, 100 RBIs, and hit 300. Because guess what? He didn't do that when he just came up to the bigs last year. And I think you're going to see a little bit more of that transition this year. I think if Jackson's playing every single day, you're going to see the progression, go through some growing pains, and by the end of the summer, things might start to be clicking for the young star. But the age is a big thing. He's going to have to continue to learn how to be a big leaguer. And I hope, though, for his sake, he is getting those reps. What's going to help unlock Jackson is reps. And if he gets the reps, sooner than later, he's going to figure it out and piece it all together. And, hey, guys, I will be on soon. You heard it here first. Appreciate you.
Prince of Baltimore, Ryan Ripken.
Prince of Baltimore, just blessing us.
Ryan, the only issue that I take with your video, and much appreciated, but you said he's more than likely not going to be that guy that puts up 30 and 100. Why not, Ryan? I want Jackson Holliday to be a 30-100 guy. I know he's not. I fully understand your reasoning, and you're far more of a reasonable man than I am. But my goodness, have you seen a picture of Jackson Holliday recently?
I'm sure he's jacked.
Dude is yoked.
Yeah.
And that, to me, it doesn't compute when you see that and you got Ryan going, hey, it's probably not going to put up 30-100. I said, I look at that picture, I said, that's 50-125 if I've ever seen it. No, but this is going to be, again, storyline I'm going to have my eye on. Something that was encouraging that I came across was that he's spending some time working with Brian Roberts and JJ Hardy down at spring training, which has been, I could only imagine, beneficial for his defense. Some of the quotes I read were that I think Brian Roberts was talking about how he just still plays as if he's a shortstop, and how there's certainly some similarity, some crossover there between the two middle infield positions, but that footwork when it comes to things like double plays and things like that, you're going to need to play it differently than you would if you were a shortstop. And so if he's able to iron out some of those things, hopefully that helps, ramp up his confidence a little bit. Because in baseball, anything that you can utilize to help boost your confidence is a gift. And if you're struggling at the plate, but you've got it figured out defensively, that you got to build off that. So if Jackson is able to spend the spring working on cutting down on his on chases, he's able to sort of tighten up the strike zone a little bit, straighten up, clean up his strike zone specifically, and better identify what he's looking for. Combine that with some improved defensive ability. I think this could be a good year for Jackson.
I like that, man. Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Ryan's saying, because it's like, I think it's a whole different thing when you have a young guy that no one expects to come up and produce. When you have a young guy that came, like, no one's heard of, and all of a sudden, like, no offense to like a Jordan Westbrook, didn't have the hype, didn't have the spotlight, didn't have his dad, being a former big leaguer sitting in the third row, like those types of aspects to it, where there's not time. One of the biggest things Ryan said was to settle in. Like there's just so much going on. There's so much attention. So for him to have like a full spring training, to be around incredible defenders, some of the best defenders we grew up watching, to have that, just those opportunities to like understand, this is where I'm going to be, this is my home, and I'm going to have the opportunity to play every day without the hype, without, I don't want dad sitting there constantly in the interviews. I don't want to have that. I want to just be another one of the guys to settle in. So those reps are going to help him a ton, I think. I like that pick. So much that I'm going to stay in Baltimore, but not for good reasons. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to watch what this rotation is going to be doing. Um, there's obvious disappointment here. There's Orioles fans, there's fans around the league that have watched the bubble ready to burst in Baltimore. And they just didn't really do much this offseason to take that next step. So, when you're looking at some of these names, like it's not bad. I do see innings getting eaten up here, between a Zach Eflin, between a Charlie Morton. I do like what I saw in Albert Suarez last year. I think Dean Kramer is probably just a very good middle of the rotation kind of guy. And then can Grayson take those steps, And so there's question marks throughout this that I'm unsure about. And Kyle Bradish, it's just something that I want to see. And I think this is a year where the AL East is going to be better than it has been in years past. I think you're seeing, the Yankees. I don't think there's huge fall off or regression from last year, but they're still going to be at the top of the conversation. The Red Sox obviously took steps. Like the Blue Jays are in desperation mode and kind of just having to succeed. This is just the way it is. The Rays getting, some of their studs back from injuries. The Orioles have to go, man. Like they've got to figure it out. I'm just disappointed in what happened, and I'm curious to see how quickly they pivot. I'm curious to see if there's a surprising, we're going to prove everybody wrong, and all of a sudden this rotation comes out and dices. There's nothing wrong with having under the radar names. We saw what a Detroit Tigers, rotation can do, but that's having a dude, that's having a Cy Young guy at the top. And even then they fall short. So it's like, if this roster and this young core is ready to pop, why aren't they doing more? Why aren't they bringing some guys in? And what is it about their coaching, about their philosophy that isn't quite clicking, right? Jack Flaherty didn't seem to really like it there. I think there's a reason Corbin Burns didn't want to come back. I don't know what's going on, but I need them to kind of get going, because I don't want to see a Blue Jays 2.0. I don't want to see where we've got all this hype and all this young talent and it doesn't really pop off. I think that city and that organization deserves to go. They have new ownership. They've got new money. They've got the hype. And fandom is ready to just celebrate what this team can do. And the rest of the league needs to be put on notice at some point, but they need to do something to back it up. And it's go time. So it starts with them. I'm watching the rotation.
You're talking expectations, a fan base that's eager to see some success. Really little to no expectations for this team. But this player, however, I'm very much excited to see whether or not 2025 is a year that this individual becomes more of a household name. Because I'll admit, you being out there, you may know a little bit more about the trajectory of his career, but I feel like I know very little about his skill set, what he offers. But I'll say this: I'm excited to learn Ezequiel Tovar.
It's a great pull.
This dude, this is an exciting baseball player. This is an exciting baseball player. Like I looked up, he had 20, spare me the Coors Field. He put up 26 jacks last year. Mm-hmm. 26. OPS plus a 103. Some of the comps I've seen, I actually saw a tweet put out by MLB Network. Through their age 2020, or excuse me, through their age 22 season, he has more home runs than Frankie Lindor, Xander Bogaerts, Troy Tulowitzki. More RBIs than those three. And and has accumulated a WAR of 5.9. And the comp that I'm interested in hearing maybe your thoughts on, through age 22 season, a 5.9 WAR for Tovar, a 5.4 for Xander Bogaerts, Troy Tulowitzki 6.4. Those are two names. I mean, go ahead and assume Lindor's in sort of a league of his own in that regard, but Bogaerts and Tulo, I feel if you can get if Tovar is able to continue to post, because he posts last 2 years, 153 games played, 157 games played. He missed 3 games because of the birth of his kid. So
fair.
I'm sure it sounds like he was trying to look for another way to avoid it so he could just take the field. But if he's going to be able to provide you, if he's going to stay healthy, he's going to be able to provide you that consistency and improve on a 26 homer season. I'll take a healthy Trevor Story type from that all day. He's locked. I think his option contract ends in 2030. I think he has an option for 2031. But yeah, sign me up for that. Sign me up for that. And so the storyline here is ultimately, again, sort of as I was alluding to, if Tovar can become even more so of a household name, and to many he may already be, and apologies for again just not being fully up to speed on what this guy brings to the table, but I'm excited to watch this, one of the very few bright spots in Colorado right now.
Yeah, you're exactly right, dude. I mean, the problem is that just I feel like anybody that's familiar with the Rockies is like, we've seen this story before, and no pun intended, but like it started with Tulo, and then it went to Trevor Story and Arenado, and you're like, and DJ LeMahieu. Like you see these like, and I'm not going to sit here and just give all the praise to being at Mile High and playing Coors Field. Like, no, that's not the only production you're getting. It's just, can they build around it? And this is the first time that they've committed long-term to an affordable contract that is realistic for them, that allows them to fill in the gaps in the other way. They have some talent there. They've got some promise on the offensive side. They're always going to struggle to get pitching. I'm just eager to see that, like, is this different? They're producing dudes. It's just not clicking, and all the pieces aren't coming together at the same time. And outside of, what was a very fun ride to witness in 2007, and yeah, they, got hammered in the World Series, but like a lot of what they did that year was very like 2004 Red Sox. It was very just hodgepodgey, some vets mixed in with some young guys and a lot of names that nobody really is familiar with until they pop off. So like, you see how rare those teams come around. That's not a normal thing, right? Like there's a reason why we still reference those teams, because it's been over 20 years and we haven't really seen any other repeats like that. It just doesn't happen. It's just how the cards fall sometimes. But like, you can't just sit and bank on that. The Rockies can't expect that same recipe to come back and save the day again. They have to pull the trigger on some names. They have to find a way to commit to more than just one or two pieces and then piss that guy off until he wants to be traded and go find success somewhere else. So I'd like to say it's going to be different. I hope that it's not just a one-man show there. I'd like to see some success in Colorado. It's another franchise that could use a new chapter, but it's a good storyline, man. That guy's a stud. And for those unfamiliar with that name, or maybe haven't, gotten to watch too many games, because why would you turn a Rockies game on? I get it. That's a good name to watch, man. He gives me Willy Adames vibes too. That's kind of another trajectory that I see in my head. Just some occasional surprising pop, plays good defense, very athletic. Probably never really like a big league leader at that position in any given stat, but is like very consistently good across the board. And you may never see a 150 or over OPS plus out of him, but I think the floor is really high than most guys.
It's a great point. It's a great point. Does that wrap us up?
I think it does. And I think you should go ahead and hit that button because I think it's along the same lines. Kind of. Not really.
Whose quote was this? Whose quote was this? Who said it? Whether it tastes like milk, whether it tastes like wine, we have to find out. Who said it? Was it Kyle or Nate? 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 Whose quote was this?
Whose quote was this? Lay it on me. You prefaced it by saying, "Well, this could be a tricky one."
This is a little tricky one.
You told me, like, is this a good take? Is this a poor take?
It's kind of back and forth.
Depends on who you ask, is what you told me.
We did a little bit of this today. It's not really necessarily sleepers, but it is something that we're looking out for. This is an episode March 1st of 2021. And we were talking about sleepers, guys that we wanted to pay attention to.
Bold of you to assume I wanted the episode info first.
I hear you, but I had to give you some context.
That's
because
fair.
It kind of
That's fair,
just
that's
goes
fair.
right into
Hey,
it here.
I love a good segue.
All right. I'm going Marcell Ozuna. I think it's a pick we've already talked about, but it's a pick, in my opinion, that should have happened immediately. 4 years, 64 mil. But I mean, obviously, just coming off a monster 2020 season, biggest thing for me, continue to provide protection for Freddie Freeman, which regardless of what he really does at the plate, as long as he can provide a presence at the plate and allow Freeman to continue raking, that's a win in my book. So I don't really care what he does. He's going to perform, but at the very least, if he doesn't, still going to protect Freeman. That fit just makes sense in Atlanta.
That is tricky. That could be you or me.
It's tricky also because of like, were we right? Were we wrong?
Yeah. Well, no, you're right. I'm just saying in the context of picking up on little like isms that you and I each have.
Yeah.
I feel like you sprinkled in some
I know.
you sprinkled in some good ones there. I'm like, oh, that's me. And then I heard another one. I'm like, nah, that's definitely Nate.
Yeah.
My gut says one thing, but I don't really feel like going with my gut today. So I'm going to go ahead and say this was you. Should have went with my gut.
Yeah, should have gone with the gut. It was Mr. KC. So I pulled up some numbers because I was like, I wonder how did it age like milk or did it age like wine? Right? That's what the song lyrics are. And it's tough. And if there's any Braves fans in the chat, feel free to hop in. This was kind of weird because 2021 was the year that, you know, there was some domestic violence stuff. We had the suspension in 2022 that officially settled in. He only played 48 games in 2021. He didn't do well those back-to-back seasons. It was a 645 OPS, a 687 OPS. And then 2023 came around. And that's where we settled in, I guess. 40 jacks to 39 last year. OPS both years over 900, like OPS plus 140 and 154. Like, those are big numbers. So I'm like, I think I got to give you some credit. Like, you were half right. The stuff about Freddie Freeman was unfortunate. I didn't mean to throw jabs that way, but I didn't say it. So I think it's...
What was the bit about? Because I think when you got to that...
about protecting him, I guess. That was what you were more worried about. You're like, just protect him. I don't care about anything else. Just protect him.
How is that a jab at Freddie Freeman?
No, it's just like a jab at the Braves fans for mentioning his name. I feel like it's like a Voldemort. You know what I mean? Like you can't.
That's fair.
You can't say Freddie Freeman to them.
That's fair.
I don't know, but yeah, man. I think it aged like
Target wine.
Like not a great wine.
Not a
You know,
great
yeah,
wine,
Not
but
a great wine.
you know, maybe a couple more years of this and
It gets the job done. Yeah.
we upgrade it to a local winery. Who knows? We'll
Yeah.
see. Let us commence. Wow, that was good. Let us commence the draft. We have on deck for today the entire career with one team draft. Let us see here. Gotta let the folks know on Twitter. They love a good draft.
They do
Folk-
love a good
the folks
draft.
on Instagram, however, I don't know. Can't say the same.
They hate. I think people on Instagram just don't like us.
I think there's a lot of people that just don't like us, but it's fine. You
That's
know, we
fair.
can sit here and talk ball. It's cool.
That's fair.
I'm cool. So yeah, this is the entire career with one draft. The stipulation is that the list of players that we're going off of requires that they had spent 10 years at least at the big league level. And of those 10 plus years, obviously all with one team. So no randomizer today. We're just going straight draft. You can start wherever you want on the diamond. And regarding positions, we're going with our
Alternate. It's the
our-
alternate.
our alternate structure. We're going 4 infielders. We're going 3 outfielders. We'll have a DH and we'll have a starting pitcher. And so as a result of Nate winning last episode's draft, it was a draft of active hit, like totals, we'll call it.
Active career hit total.
You won that. That did not require a vote. That was just a straight up fact check, which we did, and Nate won. So as a result, Nate will get first pick for this draft. Nate?
I mean, hit me with Cal Ripken Jr., the Iron Man himself.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
I mean, all right. And we're doing snake draft, correct? As
So
we
you
do.
get back
Okay.
to back. Then yeah.
All right. So Nate went Cal.
21 seasons.
Give me the splendid splinter, the greatest hitter who ever lived,
There you go.
Ted Williams, in my outfield. And then give me this is tough. We've already reached that point of the draft where I'm not entirely sure who I want to go with here. Give me No, you know what? I've made this mistake before. I'm going to play it smart here. Give me, where can I slot him? Can I slot him?
We're not doing a reliever, by the way, right? Just the starter.
Correct. Okay, so
You already got to go to the committee?
well, I mean, are we just essentially chalking up DH as a free spot?
Basically.
Yeah. Okay. Give me. You know what? Give me Roberto Clemente.
Solid. Solid.
Give me Roberto Clemente. Who do you got?
Give me Jeter. And yes, there was some strategy there. And then give me Bob Gibson on the bump.
Ah! I hate that. I hate that. That was stupid, dude. I should have. What was I thinking? I should have assumed you were going there and just snagged him while I could. All right. Well,
I was
You know
looking
what?
at Roberto Clemente too.
give me. Well, I don't need to rush to get a pitcher now. I guess.
You don't?
That's that. Now that's nice. That's
Yeah,
nice.
that's a nice aspect.
I
to it.
can go last pick if I wanted to. Should I go Walter Johnson on the bump? Not enough people talk about Walter Johnson. I'm going to just gonna double check here. Double check. Going double check. Oh. Oh. Give me Mickey Mantle in the outfield,
Jeez.
and then give me Tony Gwynn as my DH.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't need to rush to the outfield.
You should have.
Nice.
You should have. I'll say that.
That's
I mean,
nice.
you left the greatest hitter of all time, two of the greatest hitters of all time. I mean, these are all great hitters, but two of the great, without
I'm chilling.
argument, two of the
I'm
greatest
chilling.
hitters of all time on the board, and then you just handed me Roberto Clemente and Mickey Mantle. What are we talking about?
You think I'm stressed. I'm not stressed. I am not stressed.
Two picks.
Give me Chipper Jones
When
and
I
Lou Gehrig.
when you asked me if we're doing a reliever, I said no, right? I was
Correct.
okay. I was searching players. Couldn't remember what I told you. All right, so you're taking Chipper
And Lou Gehrig.
In
Finish
that
out my
order.
Infield.
in that order.
Sure.
Not that it matters, but
Not that it matters.
some of the graphics I put the draft pick number next to it just so people know what the overall pick was because we do the snake draft. All right, so your infield is set.
Yep.
All right, so I have no infield, which is I'm cool. I'm totally fine. I could not be more fine. Give me. So I need 3 infielders and a starting pitcher. No, I mean, excuse me, 4 infielders and a starting pitcher.
And a catcher. Are we doing a catcher?
Yeah. Duh. Sorry, forgot about that. Okay. Give me. Ooh, now this is interesting. This is interesting. What kind of... Give me Stan Musial in the infield.
Okay.
And give me oh. Hold on. I just need to confirm one thing. And then we are good to go. Give me hold on. Is he the only?
No. I already know what you're doing.
Whatever. Oh, what am I doing? No. Give me Johnny Bench behind the dish. What am I thinking?
Yeah. What were you thinking before that?
I wasn't thinking Johnny Bench, and I saw, well, I mean, whatever. If you're going to pick him, you're going to pick him. But I saw Joe
I don't think there's
Mauer.
anyone else to pick. I think those are the only two catchers, aren't there?
Yeah, well, I saw Joe Mauer, and I was like, he can't be the only one that only played. The only Hall of Famer, I should say. I should clarify.
The only two Hall of Famers. All right. I was hoping I could go one more round before Johnny Bench went, but that's all right. That is okay. Okay. On this list, your eyes like automatically go to the Hall of Famers, but there's still like really good names that aren't Hall of Famers.
Oh yeah, there's some dudes.
So if you go like lineup configuration, it could make things, like it kind of changes your mind a little bit.
Yeah, you got to give
Because like Pepper Martin has to be considered,
Okay. All right. Yo, shout out. If you know ball, you know Bobby Higginson. That is a jersey that I would buy in a minute, dude. Bobby Higginson, back when I played, what was that PC game? It was like Triple Play 2000 something. I played with the Tigers a lot for some reason, and Bobby Higginson was that dude. Mashed.
I'm going to go with
Ryan Howard's on this list.
I know.
Crazy.
Well, just to give me a little more time, I'll give you one. We're going to go Joe DiMaggio in the outfield.
I hate that you got Bob Gibson. That just kills me.
I know it does. Oh, I'm trying to think like strategy wise,
I don't think there's anything to strategize though.
Well, I still have my DH that like just makes me kind of.
Oh, I see. I think that's the last domino here.
Sorry, buddy. DH is like a hard one to commit to. I'll go Edgar Martinez. I'll do that. I'll stay traditional. Get the first
So you're going Edgar.
Hall of Famer DH.
There you go. Okay. On the infield, as that is all I need left outside of my pitcher, which I'm saving for last. Give me two. I would say the two best. Well, let me just make sure I'm not missing anybody obvious here. Give me two of the best. The two best third basemen of all time.
Sure.
Give me
Sure.
I hate when you say that because then it makes me think I've left somebody off.
No, I think that's like it's a no-brainer because those names are like I went back and forth with for my DH.
Give me Mike Schmidt and Brooks Robinson.
All right, so you got one infielder left in a starting pitcher.
And a starting pitcher.
I've got two outfielders and my catcher.
In the chat, can't go with Kershaw because career has yet to finish. So who knows? Maybe he plays with the Rangers.
You never know.
You never know.
I doubt it.
Doubt it.
The outfield gets a little thin eventually, you know? No disrespect, but it does thin out.
It was your own fault.
Yeah, I went heavy infield. You went heavy outfield. I didn't really realize how deep the infield was.
That's
compared to the outfield,
that's what I'm saying.
but-
Yeah, that's. I mean, to be fair, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I knew either, but it was just luck. It's a happy coincidence.
Just go with Joe DiMaggio's brother.
I don't think we have to get to that point yet. I bet if you did go with Dom DiMaggio, people that voted on it would, as they do with all of these drafts, they'd be like, no, Nate going with the brother chemistry there, that's gonna play huge in the clubhouse. And I think that'll really have that'll pay good dividends for that team.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
Whatever.
Exactly. He knows what he's doing.
The
Should be a
logic.
GM.
No. The logic of no, you know what? Not even gonna say anything. Our voters are great.
Give me Kirby Puckett.
You already use your DH, so this is outfield. And you need another outfielder and a catcher?
Yep. And Carl Yastrzemski.
Good pick. I was considering Carl. But I wasn't going to put Carl above Ted Williams, Roberto Clemente, or Mickey Mantle, you know?
Sure. Understandable.
Okay, I need one more infielder, correct?
You do. And a starting pitcher.
One more infielder and a starting pitcher. How can we just go ahead and finish off this dub here?
Another third baseman. Oh, you already have Mike Schmidt. My bad.
Yeah. Sure do. Sure do.
I think this was a better draft to go second. Those back-to-back picks right away. You know?
I mean, to be fair, you could have grabbed one of those guys, but you were playing strategy.
Mm-hmm. And I'll probably still win this thing.
No, I quite frankly, I don't think you will.
I got a real good mix.
I mean, you got a good mix, but just hands down better for me. But that's just what the paper says.
There's a lot of fans behind some of these names. Your fans are too dead to vote. So
that's a great observation. I think that is like,
that's
jokes aside. I think that plays into the voting, because like sometimes we'll do these drafts that involve former well past players who've been gone for years or whatever. And I think like on paper, I'm like, I should walk away with this cleanly. And then it's like 75-25 in favor of Nate. I'm like, these people just not understand who some of the game's greatest players are? Or
I think the question of who you start your franchise with probably doesn't start with Stan Musial. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that is somebody who gets a lot of. I'm not saying it's justified, but I think that he.
That's the key.
Individual.
That's the key. You can't say that it's not. You can't say that it's justified, because it's not. If you knew ball,
you got sometimes you got to get out there and go get dubs. So
I'd rather lay my head on my pillow at night knowing that I picked, just on paper, a better club, a better squad, than trying to win these measly drafts that are lopsided anyway. Okay, you know what? Give me. I mean, I got a couple choices here. Who do I want to? Hold on. Give me Jackie Robinson on the infield, and to round it out, give me on the bump one of the greatest.
Here we go.
One of the greatest peaks of all time. I mean, I can't say career. It was sadly cut short. But go ahead and just give me. Hold on, one last scan. Yeah, go ahead. Give me.
I'm already writing it.
See, now you've said that before. And then I'll say my pick, and then you'll look up at me. Whoa, okay. So I'm trying to avoid that. It's already happened multiple times, so I'm just trying to avoid it, okay? You went Bob Gibson, which would have been my pick. Walter Johnson. I mean, you want to talk about one of the greatest of all time. Big Train. Shout out Big Train. Go ahead.
Check out that Baseball Reference page someday. You're bored. It's pretty crazy.
Bored? Oh, if you're bored, yeah. Gross. 110 career shutouts. That's unheard of. Go ahead. Give me Sandy Koufax.
Yep.
And give me the win.
Give me a sneaky name behind the dish that doesn't have yellow for Hall of Fame on this list yet, but he will. Yadier Molina will be behind the dish for me.
Said I didn't want to go Joe Mauer.
No, I think Yadi's goes down as the superior there. Good
I like
stuff,
it.
guy.
I like it. All right, so recapping here. On the infield, Nate's got Cal Ripken, Derek Jeter, Chipper Jones, and Lou Gehrig. On my infield, I've got Stan Musial, Mike Schmidt, Brooks Robinson, and Jackie Robinson. In Nate's outfield, Joe DiMaggio, Kirby Puckett, Carl Yastrzemski. And my outfield, Ted Williams, Roberto Clemente, and Mickey Mantle. For Nate's DH, Edgar Martinez. For my DH, Tony Gwynn. Behind the dish, Nate's got Yadier Molina. I've got Johnny Bench. And on the bump, Nate's got Bob Gibson to my Sandy Koufax. That'll do it.
I think you should get the dub, but I
won't.
think you got to take in
I
you
won't.
got to account for the age of our listeners and voters. You know?
I mean, what does that say about the younger
Although your
generation?
outfield
Though?
is crazy.
Yeah, if I don't care if you're 9 years old, if you don't know Ted Williams, Roberto Clemente, or Mickey Mantle, you need to reevaluate the adults in your life because they're clearly not leading you in the direction you need to be led. I'll just say that.
Oh, I'm gonna go take a nap, I think.
Enjoy your Sunday.
You too, guy. Enjoy this L that you're gonna catch.
It's not justified. It's not justified. But yeah, enjoy your Sunday, folks, and have a great week. Check out the aforementioned shop. I've had some folks asking where they can snag some of these hats we've been wearing these last few weeks.
You already know.
On the shop. Grab some jerseys, grab some tees. Jerseys are pretty fire. You can
See,
find them all.
Mama Reyes was rocking one at the game.
I didn't see that. No, I need to
Yep.
see the picture.
Yep, she was rocking it.
Love that.
She came with a Todd Helton jersey. She was like, "Oh, the Rockies aren't playing." I was like, "No, sorry, Ma." She's like, "All right, give me the 3-0 take jersey."
But if the Rockies were playing, 3-0
Todd
tech
Helton.
staying in the closet.
That would, yeah. Old Toddy Helton.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Gets the nod, but that's all right. By the way, honorable mention for me. Todd Helton's like a personal favorite, but I know he doesn't steal the votes. Anywho's, you guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out. And don't go chasing curveballs.
Love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.